All right. Hello, you Splunkers and you Splunkerettes. Welcome to your quarterly edition of What's New in PowerConnect. As you know, this is our time to review the quarterly releases from Software One for the new PowerConnect add-on. And this quarter, we are reviewing what's new in 703. Before we get started, I do need to go over the boring legal statements just to make sure we keep the lawyers happy. Just as a reminder, some of the statements that we make during this webinar, basically can't hold them against us. We may make some forward-looking statements. Please do not use these statements to make any financial investment decisions. Read this at your own time to get all the gory details. So for those of you who don't know me, I am your basis hostess with the mostest, basis host, that is, the basis from the Oasis. So my name is Benjamin Dare. I'm the one that provides your quarterly updates. I have 23 years of SAP experience, done just about every kind of SAP install app, worked on all the platforms, hands-on keyboard for 18 years. Did 3 years in client success and spent 2 years before coming to RHONDOS working as an SAP solution architect, helping to move customers into our private cloud, public cloud, or hybrid solutions. Just a reminder for those of you who might not be aware, RHONDOS is a certified implementation partner of PowerConnect. We are also premier partners with Splunk, Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft Azure. Our product is also certified with SAP. You can see the actual certificates here at the bottom of this screen. So as I mentioned previously, we are certified by SAP for PowerConnect. These are very rigorous certifications to achieve and requires rigorous testing by SAP to ensure that our product works with all of the latest and greatest SAP applications and add-ons. So this is the most current list of SAP products that we are certified to work with. We are also RISE and HEC compliant. Very critical piece of information there, because when you get to RISE and HEC, a lot of times SAP is very strict about the software that you can install in their environment. And since we are certified, you get a deeper insight into your SAP landscape with with PowerConnect and RHONDOS. So just quickly, I'm not going to go over this. Many of you are already SAP, Splunk, and PowerConnect customers, but today we're going to be talking about the updates to the PowerConnect ABAP, Java, and Cloud plugins that are used for SAP. Those are those bright green boxes there in the middle. So again, not going to go into a lot of detail here, but we do have plugins for both ABAP, Java, all of the SAP products, and this gives you a deep visibility into both the application, database, and operating system layers. So the cloud plugin, we have some really exciting ones that I'm eager to get to here for cloud this quarter. But again, these are some of the cloud products that we give you deep visibility into, things like Concur, SuccessFactors, SAP CPQ for generating quotes and prices for customers, and Ariba. So again, being able to get deeper visibility into those cloud products using PowerConnect. All right, so what are 5 reasons why you might want to use PowerConnect? Well, the top 5 reasons are security, compliance, performance, business, and migration. There are use cases for each one of these. Because this webinar really is typically for existing customers, I'm not going to give a deep dive into these, but at the end of the presentation, we will have information on how you can contact us, and we'd be happy to share more information on these if you are new to Splunk or PowerConnect. All right, now the time you've all been waiting for, my SAP Splunkers. First, we are going to start with the Splunk app updates. So these are not the actual plugins themselves. This is the Splunk app that you download from Splunkbase, which is populated from the data from the PowerConnect add-ons. You'll notice the first 2 that are listed there have little cloud icons next to them. That's because while these are Splunk app updates, those are actually for the cloud. So we've used clever little cloud icons that indicate that in future updates that you'll see from us, they'll be as part of the cloud update slide versus, Java or ABAP. So the first one I wanted to discuss with you guys is success factors. There are many new exciting updates for success factors. I think a lot of these will have just fantastic functionality to add to your arsenal, if you will, in troubleshooting performance issues. The first one is payroll monitoring. I looked at these dashboards. They are absolutely fantastic. There are all kinds of dashboards on here that give you information into the number of payroll runs, users that are in there, the amount that's part of the payroll run. So you can look for anomalies, errors as part of the payroll runs, exceptions. It is phenomenal. So make sure your employees are getting paid. Get Splunk, get PowerConnect, and make sure you get the success factors add-on with 7.03. Next is process monitoring. I don't know if anybody has had to look at the process monitors that come by default with success factors. There's a screenshot here on the right that's got that tree there with kind of these process chains that you can build in success factors. And one of the gaps I think that the SAP standard tools have is, if one of those things fail at the bottom, the top level process might show green, but there's still a failed job or something as part of those processes. And now that you can get that information inside of Splunk, we can generate alerts. You get deep visibility into these trees. With the dashboards here, you get a list of errors, anything that you want with the success factors process monitoring dashboard. Next up is security monitoring. So again, for success factors, we can monitor things like what geography users are logging in from, how many logins they've had, failed login attempts, just a ton of information out there, really to enhance your security posture for a critical system in your SAP landscape. And finally, I don't know that I could be more excited about the success factors dashboard than onboarding. One of the biggest things that companies get audited for is their onboarding and offboarding processes. So how quickly are you removing a user from your system after they've been terminated or let go for whatever reason? Now you can monitor those processes. You can look to see where in the onboarding process users are when they start with your company. What a great way to track this information. Again, success factors, onboarding dashboard, part of Splunk Update app 703. Next up, we have Ariba. There is security monitoring. Again, what a huge issue this is for companies, customers being audited for Ariba for such a critical system in their SAP landscape. So with the new security monitoring, we again are looking at things like login attempts, where users are logging on from, audit type, the actions that people are doing in the Ariba system. Just a fantastic addition here provided by the folks over at Software One. Next up for the Splunk app updates is a brand new, again, dashboard. This will be located in the ABAP stack, is an SE16 table browser. So not only does this give you an insight into, users' ability to change data, but it actually keeps an audit record for you. So while it might be rare for a user to have SE16 access in production, if they do make a change, we need to make sure that that information is auditable. And trying to get version history out of SAP can be a real pain in the neck. So with this new dashboard, we now can show you exactly what data was changed, what it looked like before and after, and again, what tables were updated. Now, right now, the data that's in there is a little bit hard to read, but I've been told that in the next release, they're going to work on normalizing this data to make it much more human readable. Next up, another one. These are just fantastic updates this quarter, you guys. STMS SOD conflicts for transports. My God, the excitement just does not stop. So what this update does, it essentially is asking, hey, if I created a transport, Bender, the basis from the Oasis, if I create a transport in dev, and I'm the same guy that puts that transport into production, that is setting off red flags and alarms for auditors. So what this dashboard does is it checks and validates that the same user that creates a transport is not the same person that imports a transport. So making sure that separation of duties are occurring in your organization, you are passing audit. This is just phenomenal. Finally, for the Splunk app updates for 7.03 is the SAP Cloud Connector. So SAP Cloud Connector, I know that I had these systems in many of the customer landscapes that I supported, both in client success and as a basis administrator. But what this does is it helps SAP systems connect to SAP SaaS product offerings, but there hasn't really been much visibility. It's kind of a piece of software that sits out there. It acts almost like a proxy server, if you will. But now we can get real monitoring statistics on types of errors that are occurring in the system, actions that are taken, be able to pull logs, check connections, give you an up-down status for those SaaS products. Just phenomenal. I'm out of breath. I'm sorry. I might need a minute before we do ABAP. Just kidding. Let's carry on. All right. SAP ABAP updates for PowerConnect 7.03. Again, just some really fantastic updates. On this slide here, we'll send them out to you if you like after the presentation's over. I've actually provided links to the physical release notes from Software One. So when you're looking at these, you can click on these. It'll take you directly to screenshots, give you some more helpful information. All right, with that, let's just jump in. The first one is a HANA INI file monitor and user list extractor. So you can see on the screenshot here on the right are all the INI files that are responsible for holding the configurations for your HANA database. Well, what this monitor will do is check to see what the status of those are. You can then use this extractor to compare the INI files and the configurations of databases to other databases in your landscape. So you're able to measure consistency, make sure things are staying the same, look for changes, and get alerted if there is a change from the standard that you have. The other thing it does is monitor the users. So, those of you who are working these systems on a daily basis know that the folks that are logging in through the GUI are not the same users that have database access. These database users could be ones that are used for connecting third-party databases. It could be basis admins that need to be logging into the database. They're running queries to check performance. But, because it's typically not on the radar for a lot of auditors, maybe they don't check for it. Maybe it's not something that you guys are looking for. But this is a fantastic security use case. Extract the users that are in your HANA databases and make sure that the people that are in there are supposed to be there, that users are locked or aren't locked, etc. Next is routing. So this is actually an ABAP update. However, the functionality for this, you really configure inside of the Splunk app T code inside of the ABAP stack. And what this allows you to do is, in the past, all of the Splunk data that you extract through PowerConnect would be sent to a single index or a single endpoint in your Splunk landscape. Now you have the ability, and you can kind of see from the pull down there, that list on the left, those are the standard that come with it. So you see things like security, performance, ITSI, business process monitoring. Those are standard filters that we give you, but it allows you to filter your data and send that data to different indexes based on the type of data that you are extracting from SAP. And another great feature is that you can actually create your own custom filters and again, send those to different endpoints. And what's the benefit of that, you might ask? There's multiple. The first one could be security. Maybe you don't want users to have access to your security data. So you only send your security data to a specific Splunk endpoint and only give security type folks access to that Splunk system. And then the second one would be performance. If you have all this data going to different indexes, it's smaller, search time's better, maybe it's easier to track performance, and who's using your SVCs if you're in Splunk Cloud. Fantastic update again. Thank you. Next is an SMO4 update for ABAP. And essentially what this one does is it's enhanced. So we already had an SMO4 extractor, but what this update does is it gives you the time that users log into the system. And this was built actually off of a use case that a customer requested. What this does is it helps give you information about how long the user's logged on, so you're able to determine with more detail the exact session time for users that are logging into the box. Another terrific update, I think this is going to help reduce costs for customers, is the SXMB Money. So what this is now allowing you to do is actually filter the data For SXMB Money, for those of you who don't know, SXMB Money is a transaction in the ABAP stack where you can monitor your XML messages, typically that go through PI. Terrific troubleshooting information in there, but maybe there's interfaces that aren't critical. If something goes down, maybe you don't need to be alerted. But with this new update, you can actually filter the data that's sent to Splunk. So by filtering that data, not sending every single message to Splunk, you can reduce your ingest. Reducing ingest, smaller SVCs, smaller bill. Let's go. All right, next, transport logs. This is another one, you know, in the app update, we talked about the transport SOD conflict. This is a little bit different than that. So what this one does, it actually checks to see if when a transport gets imported, say into production, was that transport manually created in production? Or was it a transport that got added to the queue because it had already been imported in the previous system? Very critical fact, because if a transport is manually created in a previous system or in production before it's imported, that could be an audit failure. No bueno. All right, moving on. DBCO. So for those of you that don't know, DBCO stands for Database Connections. And what this allows you to do is check the validity of connections that are sent to secondary databases. So, you know, we all know your SAP systems are around forever. Maybe there's a third-party system you need to connect to at some point. You create a database connection to that box. That system gets retired. You no longer need it, but that thing's sitting out there. It's making calls. You know, maybe it's something where, you know, a security thing and somebody could come in and get in there. Long story short, this database connection thing, it's validating all the connections you have to secondary databases and allows you to clean up those ones that you no longer need. Fantastic. All right. Next one is variants. So now PowerConnect can extract all the variant data and change logs that are used for your background jobs. This is fantastic. I don't know if you guys have been using PowerConnect and Splunk for very long. We've always had terrific information about background jobs inside of the Splunk PowerConnect dashboards. What this now allows you to do is see the variants that are set inside of those background jobs in finite detail and also see the change logs on them. So again, making sure that your variants are set up the way that you want. You can validate that they're the same across perhaps background jobs for plants if you're in a distribution center type scenario, but make sure that they're all the same. See who changed them, when. You can make sure that you have, you know, your ITIL change processes to follow whatever changes are in there, be able to pass audits. The guys are killing it this quarter. These are just fantastic. If you're not excited, I don't know what to tell you. All right. Finally, let's jump into the Java updates. There's only a few of these, but you know, we're going to jump right in. I think I put on the Splunk app update that there was support for the cloud connector. This is the view into that dashboard. Again, it's Java, so I decided to throw it in here. Give you a look at it. Again, events, errors, types of events, just great insight we get with this new update. There's also a new Java update that allows you to filter tasks. Sorry, it doesn't allow you, but it basically filters tasks to remove duplicate entries from Java systems. And what that's doing is if you have multiple Java runtime environments on a single server, a lot of times those multiple runtime environments will each have their own logs from a single Java system that's on your box, and you'll get duplicate entries inside of Splunk. Kind of a pain in the neck to breed through. This basically smartens that extractor, smartens Splunk, and removes duplicate entries so you have cleaner data inside of your dashboards. And then this next one is also, I think, really good. Again, trying to help save you guys money for your Splunk ingest. As you know, if you're using PO, sometimes those messages can be ginormous. And, you know, depending on who you're sending the data to, what type of data it is. And so what we're doing now is we're filtering Splunk data, the payload from your PI messages, and you can set that to any limit that you want. By default, the limit is 10 megs. So any PO message with a payload larger than 10 megs, that payload data will not be in Splunk. So, you know, a lot of people love the benefit of being able to see the payload data. They can see the exact message, contents of the message that are being sent to help troubleshoot. maybe your large messages don't occur that often, or you just don't want all that data in there. You can log into your backend system to see what happens on the big messages to save that ingest. You now have the flexibility to do so. Again, the default is 10 megs. You can change that value as you see fit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the updates for the Splunk app and the Splunk PowerConnect plugins for ABAP, Java, and Cloud. Just a reminder, the updates that I covered today are just a small fraction of the 250 plus event types that are collected by PowerConnect out of the box. If there's anything you see here, that maybe you haven't worked on implementing yet, maybe there's some enhancements that you would like, you're a customer of PowerConnect, and you would really like to see the STO3 data created in a different way. I did say that we have these releases every quarter. Maybe you don't want to wait. Maybe there's something special. I've got news for you. We have professional services that can help you customize your Splunk and PowerConnect extractors to be able to look any way that you want. And our professional services are multifaceted. So, you can do this with RHONDOS on demand services. And what your RHONDOS on demand gives you is a block of hours you can use any way that you want over the course of a month. Maybe you've got Splunk admins on site and you would just want to level them up so that they can build their own dashboards. Maybe you're looking for them to, write more efficient searches. Well, you can use your RHONDOS on demand hours and we can come in and help you do that. It's a very flexible model. Again, use the hours as you will, schedule at will. It's just a fantastic model that our customers really love. And secondly, professional services. Again, if you're looking to, have us come implement ITSI for you, maybe you really want to expand your use of the machine learning toolkit so that you get those adaptive thresholds in your environment. We are here for you. We can do that, and we look forward to helping you. All right, with that, just going to check in with my colleague, Mr. Yetter. Mr. Yetter, did we have any questions come in during our webinar today?
Let's see, Ben. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so today. I think what you covered was brief, and I don't see any questions.
No problem. I don't blame them. I think I covered that pretty thoroughly. But if questions do come to mind and you want to reach out to us, we have an email address here that you can get in touch with us, info@rondos.com. If you're looking to learn more about the PowerConnect technology, we've got a link here to the PowerConnect.io. There's free trainings at Splunk. If you're looking to get Splunk certified, great place to start here. And also we have a link here for Zero Trust Framework. Please reach out if you have any questions. It was my pleasure to serve you today, and I look forward to speaking with you next quarter.